Lincoln Alexander first distinguished himself by serving in the Royal Canadian Air Force during the Second World War. He then became Canada's first black member of Parliament when he was elected to the Canadian House of Commons in 1968 as a member of the Progressive Conservative Party of Canada, where he served for 12 years. In '85, Link was appointed the 24th Lieutenant Governor of Ontario.
The always Honourable Lincoln Alexander was kind of a household name, growing up. But the first time that I actually came across him, I was selected of one of 2 students to go to the International Day of the Child. I'll never forget it. I remember seeing this man on stage that was larger than life. Never in my time had I seen a black man in a position of so much power and dignity and respect center stage in the public before. And I remember asking my mother, who is that man? And she said, that is the Honourable Lincoln Alexander. And I remember asking, what does he do? And she said, he's a politician. And I didn't know what that meant at that time, but I knew that that's what I was going to become.
Well, I was 2 years old when my grandfather was given the position of Lieutenant Governor. So pretty much from the beginning, I was kind of introduced to this, his lifestyle of being honored and people recognizing him and wanting to talk with him, and him being in these very traditional platforms. But I think for me personally, when I realized that he was somebody big was when he started coming to my elementary school, and I would see the reaction from other parents and kids, and that kind of told me oh, my grandfather is this popular guy, outside of what my sister and I know him to be.
Well, when I was at the Ministry of Education as an education officer in the Division of Anti-Racism and Ethnocultural Equity, an award was set up to honor him, the Lincoln Alexander Award, and it was my job to administer it. And we sent information to all the secondary schools across the province, asking young people to tell us what activities they were engaged in that were dealing with dismantling racism and prejudice and discrimination. It meant an awful lot because it was recognition that the work that they were doing around anti-racism and equity was good work.
It just seems appropriate that the first motion that I moved as a city councilor was actually to recognize this day as Lincoln Alexander Day. Because I think it is an important acknowledgement in Canada that the contributions of African Canadians or Canadians of African descent go back since before the creation of Canada.
His legacy kind of speaks for itself, we see his accomplishments all over the place. His name is everywhere. My grandfather's legacy, I think, is kind of an ongoing thing, and it's always kind of evolving because people seem to stay interested.
So what you're doing now is, I think, helping to make sure that his legacy is not forgotten. Because I think it's so easy for us to move on and forget what other people have done, how other people have paved the way for us, and not knowing, because we don't know, and we think, oh, we're the first to do this, we're the first to do that, when in fact other people have done some of those kinds of things before.
But my grandfather loved the Raptors, and he loved being part of the establishment and his involvement with the Raptors Foundation earlier on. And he loved going to the games, he loved watching the games, and I think he was just really proud to be part of the team in that way.